I live in Koblenz in Germany. Yeah, I'm sailing for like half of my life. I started with 14 years in the Netherlands, where you don't need a license to sail. So that's where I could pick up my first skills. And I think with the age of 14, I was just a crew member. And at the age of 15, I was the first time a skipper with no experience at all. So I was thrown into the cold water. And from that day on, I think I'm kind of addicted to sailing. I have 40 days of holidays each year, and I'm using like 7 weeks of them for sailing. And 1 week is just other holidays. It's more like long weekends for mountain biking. That's my other passion, mountain biking and sailing, but obviously sailing is the biggest part. I've visited Croatia 8 times, and it was always sailing. Sometimes I extended my stay for 3 or 4 days to also explore a little bit aside of sailing. So, for example, I have visited the Party Beach in Zice, and I made a road trip to Dubrovnik because I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and there are like the movie spots are all there in Dubrovnik and that I have seen so far. I think Var is very nice. I love Trogir and Dubrovnik. They are I think the three that I like the most. Yes, I do a lot of videos when I'm sailing. Nobody helps me with that. Like I'm doing all the shots on my own. Aside of when I'm in front of the camera, like then somebody else is behind it. Every other picture that you can see on my Instagram is taken by myself. The most, I think it's the weather, because in Germany it's like not so nice as here. Here is always like you have sunshine guarantee. Like every time I'm here, it's like sun, 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 sun. Maybe one day with 10 minutes of rain in 1 week, and that's it. And the rest is just sunshine, and it's good. I like it. The weather is awesome, but I also like the Croatian people. I love the Croatian cuisine. It's very nice, and also the local restaurants that I have discovered also on the islands. There are some hidden restaurants. They're really, really nice, and people also sell like the potatoes they grow in their own garden, and it's very local, and I like that. It's very nice. I think this area here for sailing, like around Var, Vis, and Trogir, this area for sailing is very nice. But I also like Dalmatia with Šibenik, and there are also some nice bays with very beautiful watercolors that you can also reach from here. That's no problem. You can sail up, but usually I stay here in this area, especially when I have young crews. They also love to make some party, and this is the perfect spot. You can throw your anchor on Sveti Clement, and then you take a taxi, water taxi that drives you to Var. You can make party. I would like to share like one story. A skipper colleague of mine had a recommendation for me, like there is a place where you can go and have food, but it's not a restaurant. I was like, okay, what is it then, huh? And he said, yeah, it's basically a family that is cooking for sailing crews, for sailors, like for crews. And it's like a family agriculture thing. It's on Brač in Boboviska. They are even listed on Google Maps, like they have reviews and everything. But you go there and it's a family that cooks for you. Like there's the mother, Maya, and the son is on the grill. Her mother, 88 years old, she makes a soup and a dessert. And it's so lovely. Like it's the family that cooks for you. You have to call there in advance, like 1 or 2 days, so they can order everything. But this was a very special moment, I would say. And since I was there one time, I'm always coming back because it's such a nice place. also for the customers, like it's something different. And they also explain the wine that is local, so a lot of local food there, and it's awesome. It's always nice to have someone who has experience, because it makes everything easier. You don't have to explain like every nut before you leave the harbor. Like if you have at least one guy who can do like the basic nuts and know how the ship is working, like how to move on a ship without falling down on the first day, it makes everything easier. Yeah. So that would be maybe a quality I would look for, someone who already sailed before. That's always what I'm asking: who sailed before, and who would like to be the co-skipper for the week. And that is always nice if you have someone, because it helps, but it's not necessary. Other than that, yeah, VAR is always nice. So like we go also on Sveti Clement. In a bay, we throw the anchor and we call a water taxi to drive us to VAR to make some party. There's the Kiva Bar. I think it's this famous spot for sailors to celebrate and make party. That's something I'm looking forward to. Then Maya, the family that will cook for us. Yeah, we'll go there again this week. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And aside of that, I'm not 100% sure. Like I'm checking the weather always in the morning, and it sometimes pretends on the weather, like where you can go, where you can't go. Yeah, I encountered storms, plural. Like it happens from time to time. You first of all, you try to avoid them. And when you're in a safe place and it's stormy outside, you stay in your safe place. You don't go out. Like it doesn't make sense. It's just a risk for the material. It's a risk for the crew, and you don't have to take that risk. If you're crazy, you can go, but I would consider myself responsible and then try to avoid the storm. When you go to the storm, reef your sails. That's very important. Like minimize the sailing area, like the sailing space you have, but keep sailing. Like don't put the engine on because you're too afraid to sail. Like sail with a little bit of the Genua, and the boat will be more stable than just with the engine, and will be better feeling on the boat, also for the crew. And obviously put life vests on everybody on the crew, while life vests on. And check the weather. That's, I would say, the most important thing, because you're depending on the wind. Search for safe places to stay for the night. Check the weather for the night. If it's too windy, maybe search for a marina, somewhere where you're really safe. Sailing in Tenerife, and there were 4.5 meters waves, 5-meter waves. It was really tough, and I don't want to have that again. Like it was a really one nightmare experience. I was happy that I survived that. I think that's a very important thing, and I think it's getting bigger. And I think also people are more responsible than like 10 years ago. It was not that big, like in the mind of the people. Like they didn't care, and I think it's coming. And I can see customers, they come to the boat and they have sunscreener without microplastic in it, for example. And people are starting to look after those products to keep the oceans clean. And that's a very nice thing. That I also, from Sail Club Croatia, I was here last week, and I had this welcome package with products without microplastic. And I was like, yeah, that's nice. Very good thing, I have to say. And also, bring your own water bottles, buy the big gallons and not 100,000 0.5 liter plastic bottles. That are small things, but they count up. Like if everybody is taking a little care, it will make a big impact. Like on a sailing boat, you're short on resources. Like you have your water tanks, and sometimes it's a challenge to survive 1 week with that water. Like you don't enter any marina for 1 week. So you have to like learn to live with less, and you learn that you don't need so much to be happy. and I think that's a key point when sailing. I prefer monohulls before catamarans because they can sail more. I prefer sailing. I use the engine to go out of the marina and inside of the marina. 100 meter out of the marina, sails up and engine off. It's always the same. It's the moment when you turn the engine off. Like the sails are up, you turn the engine off. It's always like this magical moment where you just move with the wind and you feel connected to the nature, to everything around you. It's becoming very silent in this moment, like, and everybody is just, oh, wow. And that's the best moment every day. Sunscreener. It's simple as that, but without sunscreener, you have 1 day of holidays. And then sunglasses, because without sunglasses on a boat with the water and the reflection, it's very tough for your eyes. Everybody loves the sun, but you need to protect yourself, especially on the boat, because the water is reflecting and it's very intense. Like on the small trips, check the weather before, like check if you have enough food and water and like diesel for everything a boat needs. Be focused on the boat, like manage all the things you have to manage. My next trip will be in Greece, starting from Athens, 2 weeks, and that will be in August. And after that, in November, will be my first time in the Caribbean. So that will be a new experience. But I have to say, I love Croatia a lot. Like I think I'm almost every year here. Like there are many. I'm always coming back to Croatia because it's very, very nice here. If you come here for the first time, obviously, if you need a boat, come to Sail Club Croatia because they are the best charter company. I've tried some, and there are some good ones, but I made the best experiences here, I have to say. From technical check-in to everything else, to the communication, it's very nice and very good. Other tips for beginners, maybe try to go with someone who's a little bit more experienced because that can help. And if possible, don't sail alone, like sail with other boats together because they can always help you. And that will give you also some safety. Yeah. And maybe that are the best tips.